welcome once again, I guess. Not really once again. Welcome for the first time to Resist, episode 1. So, we have 5 people that are living a life in a city filled with magic, a city filled with security, a city without freedom. Who are each of the 5 of you? Let's go around real quick and get a brief recap on who you are, starting from top left and going clockwise. So Valerio, that is you first.
Yes. Valerio is a Hobgork. He's young adult male, age 19, 6'5", 280 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He is commonly working any kind of lower class type jobs. I guess we haven't decided where yet, but I guess you'll let me know now. But he would have been from a family of wealth, where his family would have been his family's wealth would have been from the hunting or the ability for people to be going outside. And once that stopped happening, that was the loss in his family's position and things like that. Throughout the course of his time being in his wealthy status, he became close friends with Lynn, another character here. And they've grown quite close, and he has become pretty protective of her as she kind of stuck up for him when times became rough and the other families, wealthy people, kind of disowned them, except for Lynn. So yeah, it's Valeria.
All right. Going around from there, that takes us to Grey Bloom Kitten Chewer.
Grey Bloom Kitten Chewer. Chews on kittens. Next person.
I need more than that, sir.
Alright, yeah, I go by Gray. I'm a goblin. Black hair, saffron eyes. About 4 feet tall. He's a street janitor. Likes to blend in, listen to stuff that he probably shouldn't hear. His father was incorrectly accused of being a evil magic user. Most likely, Gray will hope to get some vengeance at some point.
All right, going around from there, we have Drekus.
Drekus is also a Hobgork. Lived a pretty charmed life to begin with, you know, before everything went to shit. It went poorly for the city.
The language is fine.
Oh, okay. I didn't remember.
Yep.
Yeah, his mother trained him to be a good fighter. His father owned a shop. His father was illegally using magic and got arrested for it, and their family pretty much fell into ruin. Now he joined the resistance to fight back against the oppressive government. Strange looking guy. As a Hobgork, his upper body's a lot bigger than his lower body. Looks almost like a dwarf, kind of. But a really big dwarf. Red eyes, black hair. Yeah, odd dude.
Going around from there, we have Lynn.
Yes, I'm Lynn. I am, well, I'd like to think that although I am a small individual, one day I will hopefully make things better. This town has been in a bad place. We all know it. Things have not gotten done with words. We need, at times, to take action, and resistance is the way that we shall do it.
And lastly, Tassara.
I am a elf. pretty old, about 133, 5'6" and 135 pounds, so kind of short and skinny for an elf. I work for a man named Laska, doing kind of on the front. It's like, and I'm sure I do some of this, making inventive spices for his meat to flavor it in interesting ways, since people can't hunt outside the walls anymore. But I also do a lot of background things for him. He gives me tasks, and I have special skills to perform these tasks, such as forging documents for people to maybe go out and hunt, and other interesting things like that. And yeah, that's pretty much Tasara.
All right. So, for many of you, you have seen the city seemingly rapidly fall into a bit of a decay, going from a place where everyone seemed to live a very peaceful and pleasurable life to a place where those in positions of lower power would gradually become further down the pecking order, and those who were even at some of the upper levels were seeing themselves falling to the ranks of those in the outskirts. Each of you has sort of experienced firsthand, either directly or indirectly, this. And as we move into things, let's start off by, first of all, lightening the mood a little bit. Not everything here in the city is sad and disappointing. Some things can be quite bright and cheerful. That's really loud. Here, we join Lynn in her family's estate. Lynn, you can either live in the Archtome Borough or in Lion's Village. Where would you prefer to live?
Armorer's District is too similar to my past character. I'm gonna go with Lion's Village.
Well, it's Archtome or Lion's Village. So.
I know, but the neighbor of Archtome
gotcha.
is Armorer's District, so I'm gonna go Lion's
Village. Is,
oh no, actually, wait, what am I talking
also.
about? I don't realize what I just said. Okay, I'm going with Lion's Village.
Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, so I'm gonna give you a little house marker here. We're gonna put your house on the map. So you know where you are. So you are over here in Lion's Village.
Just couldn't get enough lions.
You know, you can never quite have enough. I'm just gonna throw a red outline on that just so we know it's me.
You find yourself on a rather unusual day. This morning, you have been sort of dealing with a number of just small problems all around the house. You know those days where you get up and like you just one little bad thing happens, like you get out of bed the wrong way, like the shower won't quite, or the water won't quite get warm enough. There's not the food that you want to eat, or it won't prepare right. Like you're just having one of those mornings. And about halfway through it, your parents approach you with a rather kind of empty look on their face. Lynn, your mother and I would like to talk to you.
You can talk to me always, but you normally don't prefix it with that, I suppose. It doesn't mean we're about to have a good chat, does it?
No. Lynn, we've been keeping an eye on your money. Much of your money comes indirectly from us, and we're concerned with what you're doing with it.
Father, we have a house over our heads. We have much food. I feel like too many outfits at times. There's many people in the town that don't have those things. I'm just making sure that it gets to where it needs to. Certainly can understand that we don't want everyone starving around us. That's not... How can you walk through the streets and be happy with that?
Giving your leftovers to them is fine, but it seems you're not just simply giving what you have extra. You seem to be giving more than that. We live in a certain status, and with this status come rules and things we must adhere to. We don't want an assessor knocking at our door now, do we?
I don't know what to buy with these things, Dad. You just want me to... I just want them to go to the right places, but are you saying that you don't want me to do this, or are you saying that you just want me to be a little bit more careful? And I wink at him.
Your mother chimes in. We just don't want you getting the wrong impression. There's a lot of rumors on the street, and that young boy you keep spending so much time with.
Valerio is not... He is my brother, and you shall call him as such. We've been through this.
Listen, I know we let him stay here sometimes, and I know that the two of you are very close, but something about him, it does not feel right. Are you supporting a bad habit of his? Is that where the money's going?
No, of course not. Valerio wouldn't even know what bad things to do if he wanted to. Valerio is just... Where are you getting these theories, Father? These are purely ridiculous.
People around the office have been talking about some things, and I'm just rather concerned.
I can talk to Valeria, but I assure you that it is just a misunderstanding.
Well, please do. We don't need to be feeding bad habits or bringing the assessors to our home to investigate why our money keeps going to places that it doesn't need to go. The system works. We are safe here, and will remain safe here as long as we continue to abide by the system. But I'd hate to end up like some of the others. You remember that wonderful little meat vendor that used to have his business around here? He had to move to the outskirts. So dreadful for him.
I don't suppose I would be able to help much people if our status got lost. I will be careful. Maybe I will set up a more organized system to it, as opposed to just dropping it off on people's doors and with a note. I don't suppose that's a great way to run any business, even a charity.
Well, since you bring this up, we were thinking, your father and I, and we think we might have an idea. Perhaps if you could come up with some sort of new thing to sell, we could create a business that you could help employ people under, and that would give you the ability to do what you want, and maybe keep Valero from whatever hobbies he might have that could be problematic.
Maybe. Could we perhaps adopt some sort of clause, some share of our profits go, to some cause?
Your profits can go to the people who work for you. That is the best way to keep things running.
I suppose that is a good enough cause for me. And if we get so large, though, that the need to grow is not there and we have sustained, then perhaps our extra profits could go to something. After all, we are running a profitable business for this city. They couldn't take opposition to that, could they, Father? Or do you think that even that could get me in trouble?
My daughter, you must understand these things are out of my control. If your company were to grow large enough, we would simply need to find more ways to grow. We could acquire other people's companies, or buy interest in them, or buy something from them, and perhaps help their companies grow. There are always directions to go, but we must operate carefully. So my advisement to you would be to try to find a niche. Try to find something that we can invest in and get you started. And if you can do that, then perhaps you can continue to keep some of this philanthropy that you want to maintain in what means we can without invoking complications.
Okay, I shall think on it. I do suppose I was due to sort of restructure things at this point. I will take a week to think on it, and I will let you know my proposal after I've had some time to discuss with the people that might be able to help me on this.
Okay. Valerio, let's jump over to you. What is your home-like life? What is your home life like? Are both of your parents still alive?
So I feel like perhaps, I mean, I guess I want to leave it up to you maybe, but I feel like once they started closing the doors, my family would have not taken to that lightly initially. So perhaps my parents protested it, tried to say, hey, this isn't right. And then in the night, maybe they were taken and I was left orphaned. And that just kind of stems my, maybe only, I don't know if that makes sense or if that works.
Yeah, that is 100% fine. So you'll find that so as of late, you've probably been spending most of your time with Lynn's family. You're not officially adopted by Lynn's family. From time to time, like, you either need to sneak in to stay there, or like you may have to spend like a day not being able to sleep or trying to find somewhere to crash for a little while. But you're able to maintain. There is still some level of work for you here and there that you can manage to keep picking up. Every once in a while, you've been a rather effective person at doing a little bit of like sort of bouncer level work, keeping people away from things when they need to keep people away from them. Mostly like people trying to be nosy and get information in like another business. Some of these places will hire in like bigger style people to just kind of stand around and look really intimidating, so people don't want to wander over and like get trade secrets when something has to be kind of out in the open. Or in the markets, occasionally they'll have people like stationed around just to like remind people that, even though there's not really any major there's not any real lawlessness here, there's still like that sense that you might just one day end up having it happen. Everybody's still got a little bit of fear, especially as the economy has sort of started to change in its methodology.
If possible, I think Valerio would want to take up any jobs that would give him sight of the outside. If there is anything like that, maybe if there's like a border patrol near the wall or something where you can look out for a few moments, anything like that would be his like priority. Or
I'd say you probably could very rarely, but occasionally get a slight spot of gate watch duty. Gate watch duty is basically just going up to the gates for a little while and relieving like a guard. You're not really a guard at that time, so you don't get all the like guard privileges. But when they have like a situation where a guard is out sick or a guard is unavailable, they will have somebody else step in who's in one of these positions. An extremely rare situation to happen, but still something that does happen from time to time. And it does give you a sort of a fleeting glimpse into the world beyond the wall. But for today, this is one of those days where you had to sort of find your own for the day. Lynn's family was particularly suspicious in the evening before, keeping an eye on things on the outside. They had their family help, like moving about, keeping an eye on things. So you had to kind of keep to yourself for the evening.
I was gonna ask, because you said I try to stay with Lynn, but we have like provided like maybe like shitty housing though, right? Like, or do I have to like literally sleep on the streets or something?
So that's sort of up to you. You could have chosen to take your housing if you wanted to. Entirely up to you whether or not you decided you wanted to do that after like the government literally came in and abducted your parents.
Yeah, no. So I think I'm just gonna add a bedroll to my sheet because I just want to make sure. So yeah, I think when I don't get to stay with Lynn, I'm huffing it on this. Is that weird though? Like, do people sleep on the like?
So you can't sleep in a public thoroughfare, like you can't be seen. But there are people who you'll find like leaned up against buildings or stuff like that, like sleeping if you really go out of your way. But it is sort of negative demerits that you're getting for doing so if you're caught. So but you can learn how to do it more effectively by like hiding behind the right things, or basically just finding places to keep yourself out of sight and out of mind.
Okay, so yeah, I think I would do that. I would try to find abandoned alleyways and stuff like that, and try to sleep there.
But yeah, presumably you and Lynn will meet up at some time during the day. Likely at her house. It's always a bit difficult for you as well to get back and forth to her house. The guards that line the walls entering Lion's Village always give you kind of the rude side eye as you make your way in. As you pass the houses on the street, people, of course, continue to give you those like glares, like, what is that thing doing here?
I would imagine I would be accustomed to these looks of disgust and stuff like that.
Yep.
But I would still nonetheless give them like glaring eyes back if I catch them glaring at me.
Yeah, when you do that, they like immediately look away and pretend they were like looking at something else, or like look down at the ground, like, oh, the grass looks really interesting.
Yeah, Valerio will just be thinking to himself. None of them look like strong, they have prowess, or because I'm like a hobgork, so I'm like thinking like, oh, I would fuck them up. If
none of them would have any sort of physical authority over you.
All right, yeah. So Valerio makes himself feel better by just telling himself that he could mess them up if they tried anything with him.
But yeah, you can eventually make your way to Lynn's home and knock at the door. After being like sort of ignored by the help staff. They don't like go in to get Lynn or anything. They just see you and they like turn their head and continue doing whatever maintenance work on the building they have to do.
Do they? Yeah. So they just let me, or do we have to?
They just let you. They don't really have any ability to stop you because Lynn has given you the permission to be on the estate, so they can't like go out and say like you can't be here.
All right. So yeah, I walk up to the door.
It sounds like Lynn is here, or it sounds like Valerio is here. Do make sure you don't get into trouble today.
It will be fine. And I'm working on what you proposed. Valerio is always a good source of insight to me. Good. I will be back later today. And if I'm not, I'm probably just doing business stuff. Don't worry about me.
If only we could. And the two of them will wander off.
Both my parents are gnomes, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I'll open the door. Look up at Valeria.
Lynn, it's so good to see you. I'll lift her up. And I'll put her back down.
I don't even think in that one on the strength I can tell that. So, it's let's go. It's
You have to see what I picked up in the market, and I'll pull out a small steel mirror.
oh my god! I thought you were gonna bring out some. Okay, never. My father.
Awesome.
You haven't been on anything, right? My father's just.
What?
Okay, that's what. I'm sorry. I had to ask. I just had to be sure.
What are you insinuating?
Let's talk and walk.
All right.
My father has been questioning what I'm doing with my family's excess income. He thinks my charities are poorly structured and going to get us in trouble. So I'm trying to think better on how I might be able to do it in a manner that doesn't, well, look so sloppy.
How is it sloppy? You're helping people. It's quite simple. Don't let your parents confuse you, Lynn, or change who you are.
Oh, they will never do that, but my father seems convinced that if we keep just dropping clothes and food on random doorsteps, that will eventually be construed as waste. That needs to be eradicated.
He's worried you're bringing up the lower people, making them equal to you. That's what he's worried about.
I think deep down my father wants better things, but at the same time, he doesn't want, well, he likes living on the inner district. Let's just leave it at that. Or is there an actual ring structure to it, Steve?
There is an outer district and an inner district, and you live within the inner district.
You should try to move out. This place sucks.
Maybe at some point I can, but first thing that my father will ask me if I'm moving out is how am I going to sustain myself, and well, I don't presently have any means of making money, do you?
I pick up the odd job here and there, but I mean, at the end of the day, you gotta watch your own back. I protect myself on the streets at night. That's the way I feel safest.
Well, the two of you walk and talk. Let's see how Tessara is doing over at Laska's. Augustin, Laska, has been rather distraught as of late. You've known for a little while that he's been sort of just barely managed to get by on things, keeping himself in a position where he won't be delegated to having to do additional jobs here and there, bringing in just enough exchange to keep himself in his current state of status. But it's wearing on him hard, and it has really started to affect his attitude. You've felt the effects of it both from his demeanor as well as in the needs he's had from you. Things went from like occasionally needing to get a permit to allow you to use some sort of alchemical reagent in a way it's not supposed to be, or getting you to be able to change one thing into another because it is technically that thing for as long as it's in the person's body. These kinds of things he's been getting to like get past the law with your help, making sure the right signatures are on the piece, the right signatures or on the piece of paper when they need to be. However, that has only been able to keep him going so far. And on this afternoon, he comes out of the small office that he has, that he's usually in for the better part of the morning, trying to assemble himself for the day. Tessara, are you doing okay?
Doing as good as I always am.
What do you know about... What do you know about animal blood?
I don't think much.
Well, you know how there are... People have their pets, and some people sometimes don't need their pets, yes?
Sure, fair.
Well, I've been thinking about sort of getting into a bit of a different business. Would people want to retire their pets? Perhaps this is something that we could pick up.
I mean, if that's how you want to make your new flavors, we can make it happen.
Do you think I'm doing the wrong thing here?
I think you're doing what you have to do to survive, and that's all anyone can do.
I mean, I could be like the rest of them and just give this all up and just clean the streets. For however long they'll let me do that for.
Yeah, but isn't this at least a little bit more fun than being a glorified janitor?
Sometimes. If it weren't for the rumors of the missing ones, I would have probably given it up by now, though. I hate... If this doesn't go well, this may be where I call it in. I'm getting a little too old now to continue to try to keep all of this going if I can't find something that just sticks. You know, and there's not a lot of people out here that are as interested in what we want. But what I need to get what I need is somebody that people trust. Someone honorable and dependable that will be able to vouch, at the very least on paper, but preferably potentially in person, for our business, and hopefully give us a little bit of a name if we can establish this connection. I've been looking through some of my old client records. I'm not sure how familiar you are with the De Cruz family.
Name doesn't really ring a bell.
They are a family that lives over in Lions Village. Used to be one of my better customers. They have a lot of sway. Very, very charismatic sort.
Yes.
I don't think you could sway them directly, but word on the street has it that their daughter has been helping out a lot of people lately. And if we could work an angle that, with the right amount of promotion or partnership, we could help out other people too, perhaps we could find some kind of in and get a name put on this, a name attached to this that people might respect in the inner sanctum, and that might give us what we're looking for to get back in their good graces.
I mean, it's certainly worth a try, especially if this is our last-ditch effort.
He turns and opens up a drawer near the door he came out of, rifles through it for a moment, and pulls out a couple of sheets of paper and lays them down on the table. There are a couple of crude drawings, one of a small gnomish girl, and one of a sort of moderate-sized hobgork. This is Lynn, and rumor is this person's name is Valerio. Lynn appears to be very attached to this Valerio person. Perhaps when finding them, you can use this information to your advantage.
Yes, always good to know people's weak spots in case that can be used to our benefit.
Yes. Now I know you're not really the personable type, but
Yeah, that's not exactly my strong suit.
But I don't necessarily think you need to do that. I think what you need to do, and he reaches back and pulls another piece of paper out of the cabinet and lays it down on the desk. I believe that this paper trail should create enough cause for alarm. And basically, looking over the document lists a number of instances where Lynn has been like handing out some of the benefits she has from her status to various random people. I, of course, can't tell you where I got this from, but it really is a last-ditch effort here to make things work out okay. And I don't want to hurt this poor girl. I really don't. I think that seeing this, if you allow her to keep it, it will be enough to convince her to do the right thing.
Yes, I'm sure we can make a compelling enough case with this information.
Very good. Thank you. About this time, actually, Drekus, you are... I think we said your mother had died, correct? And your father is still alive?
Mm-hmm.
So you likely live either in Lord's Court or Duke's Castle. So the southern end of the city. Which would you prefer to live in?
Let's go to Duke's Castle.
Okay. Go ahead and put your little home out there. You live in... Come on, drag out here. You live in a multi-story building with a number of different people's homes within it. Your father has been able to sort of get by on things, just as you've been able to. What do you feel like Drekus does in his spare time, or in his work for his work time?
Pretty much, he would do if there's any like vermin to get rid of or anything like that. Anything involving hunting, even the easiest, and anything like that is pretty much what he would be into.
Okay.
And if there's nothing like that, then pretty much anything.
No,
Like,
so you've been able to find out that one of the reasons the streets are clean of various random animals is that they have people that regularly like walk the inner walls, check for structural instabilities, and clean up anything that managed to get through. So like you can be walking around with a team of like people who understand how to like work on the wall and patch the wall, and like when you see any vermin or signs of where vermin might be, you'll kind of like try to figure out where they are and take them out as best you can. It's not a clean job, but it actually pays pretty well. When you can find things, you get like sort of bonuses for finding faults or finding miscellaneous things. You've seen, or maybe perhaps you have yourself, maybe accidentally killed someone else's pet that was in a place it really shouldn't have been. Yeah, we're able to sort of turn it in for the benefit that comes with it. Why is that not? But today you've actually gotten a very interesting request from a familiar friend of the family, Augustin Laska. Your mother, you said, hunted, correct?
Yes.
So your mother was very familiar with Augustin. She would bring him some fine catches, some of the finest catches that he'd ever been able to market. And her loss, along with the end of the hunting, was one of the worst things that happened to his business. But he says that he has a new offer, and with a lot of the work he's been doing, he might be able to make a very positive exchange for you, if you are willing to come meet with him and his associate.
Oh, I'm absolutely gonna head right over there.
Okay. So yeah, Tassara, as he sort of wraps things up with you, what's your strength and con?
20 and 16?
Yes,
14.
a very large hobgork that kind of has to like turn themselves to get through the door. Comes walking in. Ah, Dracus, good to see you again.
Good to see you too.
Are you as good of a shot as your mother was?
Oh, not even close, but I try.
Well, I'm hoping that our new partnership can be of some benefit. I'd like you to meet Tassara. Tassara's been working my legal matters.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Tassara is about to take care of something for me. There's a gentleman that she needs to talk to. I'm sorry, there's a young lady she needs to talk to about some activities she's been doing, and I'm just wondering if you wouldn't mind escorting her. This young lady has a very large friend, much like yourself, and I'm worried that when presented with this information, he might fly off the handle, and if you could just follow her and make sure she's okay.
Oh, of course, you know me.
Thank you. He
Nice
will...
to meet you, Tassara. He's gonna reach out and try to shake your hand.
I will very hesitantly shake your hand.
His hand is massive.
Yeah, that would be like this little tiny hand going into this.
Yeah.
So yeah, he'll slide the pictures over to you, Dracus, so you can see the sketches of what these two look like. I assume they should be somewhere around Lion's Village. It likely won't take too long to find them.
All right. When are we heading out?
The sooner the better, if you don't mind.
Yes, I'd rather get this over and done with as quickly as possible.
All right. Well, I'll let you lead the way.
I will take the photos and the document and head that direction.
All right. So the two of you can travel inward. In the meanwhile, Greybloom, you have been assigned what is probably maybe one of your favorite things, because you're like a people watcher, right? You like to kind of be unnoticed, staying on the outskirts, and one of the most interesting things that you get to do when you've really like been doing an exceptional job, or they need somebody they feel like they can trust to go in, is getting to clean on the inner sanctum. And this happens to be your lucky day. One of the regulars in Lion's Village has called in ill, and so they've
wipe
assigned
down
you
some
going.
gold bricks.
Yep. So you can head on into Lion's Village. But there's something always a little extra about why you're moving about. You're always looking for the right candidates for something that you and some of the rest of your friends and associates have been doing for a while. You've been looking to find a way to get the right information to start making some change around here. You guys have started up in Cresthaven Hall, a little group hidden deep beneath it, where you discuss some options and opportunities and people to sort of stick close to or listen carefully to. But what you're missing in your group is you're missing some muscle. And if you could find some muscle with just the right level of disenfranchisement with the system, perhaps that would be the opening you need. And you know that on the outskirts, it's sometimes very hard to find good muscle because they're either just well enough taken care of that they might not be unhappy with the establishment, or they're too reckless and they might get themselves like in a position where they compromise your whole agenda. What you need to find are people who are either easily manipulated or motivated with the right understanding of the consequences. And it's on this day that inevitably you'll overhear the conversation of Lynn and Valerio as they make their way down one of the streets. They discussed something about Valerio, like Lynn's concern of Valerio possibly being on some sort of drugs, but that seeming to not necessarily be the case. But Valerio seems to be very happy with this Lynn girl, very like attached to this Lynn person. And you know that Lynn is in a very well-established house with a lot of a lot of connections to the right kind of things, to be, for this little gnomish girl to be hanging around with this kind of almost monstrous person is a very odd thing indeed. And I feel like that might catch Grey Bloom's eyes. Would you agree?
Yeah.
So you're probably like cleaning a little ways behind them, but like keeping yourself, you know, in the, not even in the shadows, because no one cares what the cleaning staff does. So Lynn and Valerio, while you're walking, is there anywhere in particular the two of you would normally go in your afternoons?
I probably always try and want to walk a bit through the outer district, just as a reminder of why I do the things that I do, and that it's not, you know, it's eventually I hope to do some good and make it better just for a few of these people. I don't think I'd have anything else specific other than like that.
I was gonna say maybe when and if Lynn wants to do any of her charity work, she would usually want to bring Valerio, because it might be like an odd sight and maybe even unnerving to be surrounded by all these like people who are maybe desperate or poor, and she comes in as a very wealthy looking person. It may like make her feel uneasy a bit, and so just being with Valerio, kind of giving her that vouching, like everyone will look around and see her with Valerio and kind of be like, oh, okay, she's kind of cool or whatever. and then they can like maybe trust her more. So I think when she's like going around in these areas, she'd want Valerio with her.
Absolutely.
But, yeah.
It could even be as oblivious as a Sevenant character. I probably think it's totally safe to walk around in these neighborhoods, and you know much more better than I that it's probably not.
Right, yeah. So I think she kind of carelessly, carefree is walking, and I'm kind of like looking at all the other people as she walks by, kind of giving them like, "Oh, she's with me," kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine, yeah. But she kind of maybe oblivious to this, but.
Which I feel like occasionally gets you like this very weird look because people take that look the wrong way. As like you're defending your girl.
Oh, God.
And then you see like grotesque looks kind of fill their face.
And I'm like, no, not like that.
But yeah, as the two of you make your way towards the gates, can I get a perception check from Drakus and Tessara?
First rolls of the game.
Waste those 20s fast. Get them all the way. So.
Don't know how.
Click on the perception button.
Oh, don't forget you gotta change your character. Gotta change your character.
Called it.
You what?
Only 20 you ever rolled in this campaign.
Oh yeah.
About to die.
If I can, real quick, can I have you guys go down to the bottom, where the little drop-down box is below the chat, and change it to your character's name, just for prettiness' sake.
How do I do it?
Click on the little drop-down box beneath where the chat is, and if you click on it and then click on Drakus, you see that? Bottom right of when you're in the main roll 20. Okay, cool. So yeah, Tessara, you are really happy you brought Drakus along as you're like getting ready to go into the inner sanctum. When he spots the two of them sort of making their way up to the gate.
Looks like you're good for more than just muscle.
I just got lucky.
But yeah, I will like walk up towards them.
Okay. Can I get a perception as well from Grey Bloom?
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah,
so you don't notice Tessara walking up. You're still too focused on Lynn and Valero. So you don't get to have the fun anticipation of watching the what may be about to unfurl. But yeah, Tessara and Drakus, you both make your way forward. Can I get a perception from Lynn and Valerio as well?
Oh my god.
No.
Yeah, you guys don't even notice until they're right upon you.
We ambush them and kill them.
So like you guys don't quite make it to the gate before they kind of step this like kind of, I guess for you, Lynn, tallish, but for you, Valerio, shortish, elven girl steps forward with a very large hobgort kind of like looming in the shadow behind her. And looks as though they wish to speak to you. But we'll find out what they have to say after a short break. We'll be right back. Tessara, you approach the two of them.
Excuse me. I'm sorry to interrupt your chatting or whatever you're doing. Lynn and Valerio, am I correct?
Oh, people don't usually remember my name around here. Have we met before?
No, I assure you we have not. I'm not much of a people person, but I'm going to just cut to the chase right now. My boss has a proposition for you that I am here to deliver on his behalf.
I suppose we could go somewhere that's not the middle of the streets if we wish to talk business. Did my father send you?
I put my hand like in front of Lynn and say, not many people just walk up and we never met them before and they know our names.
No, this could be my father's play.
I assure you.
What business do you want me to start?
Not so much start as my employer is looking for someone of a noble name and status to help get our meat business kind of back on its feet.
Okay, yes. What would you say, and what is it that you think I can offer? I have no experience in meat packing.
It's not your experience in the business we're interested in. It's your status, your likability by the common people, and the fact that you could get the business's name spread around more and increase its notability, I guess.
Where does the meat usually go? Could we perhaps, set aside a bit for, the people? You don't seem to understand. So there's a lot of starving people in this town. Do you not know that?
Sure, yes. There are lots of starving people everywhere in the world.
Yes. So you make a lot of meat, yes. That is perhaps something we could redistribute.
Potentially. That would be something you would have to speak with my boss about, but he may or may not be open to your ideas.
What do you think, Valeria? This seems like a sign from the mistress herself. My father tells me to start a business, and then someone just randomly walks up with a business idea. That is the spontaneity that is encouraged.
Does my 20 gauge tell me anything about this conversation as it's unfolding?
Yeah, so people don't normally walk up to people and offer them jobs in the PR business. And you know that, like, there's not a lot of places that offer meat that would really be concerned with, like, trying to find, like, a PR person to represent their meat business as well. So something seems fishy, yeah.
Something's not making sense with all this. I don't like it. Are you telling us everything?
Everything I'm at liberty to speak of. But maybe this will sway your thoughts. And I'll kind of, like, hold up the, document and let Lynn look at it, but I'm not going to, hand it to her yet.
A little
I'm
lower,
gonna walk
please.
a little closer.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna make it look like I'm looking at the
down.
Thank you.
Okay.
I kind of, sort of just hold out, glancing over it. What does it say?
It is a list of every charitable thing that you've done in the last 3 weeks. This is not something your parents would like to see.
I suppose, Valerio, you aren't just being paranoid when you think people are watching us all the time.
What is it?
I kind of, push it back up to my brother.
Am I able to get all from
Yeah, try to give me a perception here. Give me a stealth first, and then a perception. The greater your stealth, the better your perception will be. Very good. Yeah, so you can pick out a couple of instances of gave X amount of entertainment coin to Y person, or handed off extra food to blah blah blah. And Dracus, you were trying to look at it as well, right? You were kind of moving.
Well, I was making it seem like I was looking at it, but I was just getting close, just in case.
Okay.
What is the meaning of this? You're stalking her, or?
My boss just is very, very interested with Lynn coming to work with him, and this is just a little incentive for Lynn to consider it. If Lynn says yes, you may keep this document and no one ever knows about any of this information. Because business partners would never want anything ill to happen of their business partners.
Valeria will glare at this elf in front of him.
How do you get by going about this? What? If you just wanted help, you could have just asked, but why all this? Why go to such
Blackmail.
lengths?
Because most nobles don't just help out of the kindness of their heart. We do what we have to do to survive and get what we need done.
Why is that so hard to believe?
I've never seen it.
I gesture around to the noble district. I'm sorry, have you looked around lately?
Yeah, at the moment that you guys, like, as you gesture, you can kind of look around, and at the moment you're, like, gesturing, like, the people are all kind of, like, trying to look away, like, they weren't trying to, like, get closer and pay attention. But at the same time, like, they're almost, like, looking, like, when you do watch them kind of turn away, they have, like, this look of disdain for the fact that, like, here are some people from the outer area harassing some wealthy noble child, but they know this to be the noble child that's always walking around with that, like, mutt anyway, so they just kind of dismiss it.
Lynn, I don't like this.
Neither do I, brother.
Why don't we just go talk to him?
Yes, why don't we go talk to him? Is this your boss in a private establishment?
Yes.
Yes.
I knew
He
things
has
would
his
work
own.
out.
He has his own place of business, of course.
I trust your judgment.
I don't know.
on
Maybe I
this.
should pop up and suggest.
Go for it.
Hey, can't help but have overheard you guys need a neutral place for a meeting.
Ah.
I represent the entertainment zone, Cresthaven Hall. Perfect place to meet. Perfect place to play some games.
Why did you just come here and start whispering? It's weird.
Sorry.
Speak up.
Cresthaven Hall would be a perfect place for any sort of meeting, as well as entertainment.
Aren't you guys lucky? You get business brought to you, you get secret locations brought to you. Man, you guys just have everything dropped in your lap.
Cresthaven's on a secret location.
I meant conversation location.
Ah.
Oh, I assume that was out of character.
Yeah, my character.
Oh, my bad. I'll look at Lynn. Perhaps a neutral meeting place would be better than going to his shop or wherever his person is.
Whatever you say, brother. I don't think. Certainly, it doesn't seem if someone's will go so out of the way to collect information like this that I don't seem to have any desire to meet and play by your rules.
I don't think we have a choice if they release this to your parents. Your charity days will most likely be over.
I glance down at the note.
I'm kind of just like get a little quiet, and I'm just like catch myself, and I'm just fine. I will do what you want, but as my brother has said, it will be a public location.
That's quite all right. Public location is quite fine with us. But if you don't mind, I will hold on to this piece of document until everything is finalized between us.
When we have terms, how do I know that there's any more copies of it?
I guess you'll just have to trust my boss, your soon-to-be... I don't know if he'll be your boss or your partner, but you'll just have to trust.
Don't suppose we have a choice on that, do we?
Am I still holding the note, or did I give it back to you?
I technically never let go of it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, okay. So then, if you never let go of it, I'd like to, if Lynn is handing it back, I'd like to put a hand on it, and like, since I assume she's gripping it tight, so I'm going to like pull it, but like not rip it, but like kind of like pull it so I can like go close to her as if I'm like handing it to her too.
Mm-hmm.
I want to like use my strength here to like pull her in to like whisper something
Yeah,
to her.
give me a CMB check.
When I see that, I'm gonna use a move action to I'm gonna learn intimidating prowess, and then I'm gonna yell at him, back up.
All right, so give me your intimidate check as this is happening. Sort of allow these things to kind of happen in between here.
So I would get my strength bonus to intimidate. And then, click it?
Nope, that was heal.
He's healing me.
Why? There we go.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you are demoralized. So you'll have a -2 to the CMB check.
So I rolled an 20, so 18.
Yep, and
He'll
then...
still succeed.
Okay. But you are a little bit unnerved by this guy as he's, like, kind of hulking over you.
What's the DC? I don't have an opposing check. It's just a DC.
It's CMB versus her CMD. Because you're doing an indirect grapple.
demoralization.
It's your level plus your... hold on.
I just want to make sure I'm actually afraid of this guy before.
Yeah, give me a sec. I'm fairly certain 20 is enough against a first level character. Demoralize is 10 plus target's hit dice plus wisdom modifier. And you become shaken.
Yeah, he destroys my DC.
Shaken is -2 to all of your checks.
Alright, so as I'm a little unnerved as he yells, but I'll quickly deliver
Well, he raises his voice. Not quite yelling. He doesn't want to call guards over.
Yeah, I don't want to get instantly arrested.
Oh, okay, I thought he said he yelled. I'll just I'll attempt to whisper to the elf. I'll say, if anything happens to Lynn, I'll hold you responsible. And I'll like let go of the paper and say, I don't want any trouble. And I'll back up.
Oh, you think you're a big scary man, don't you?
Seems
That's
like
fine.
we're all
Nothing will happen to her.
I don't know what you're talking about. I look around. Are we causing a scene? Is everyone looking?
You are causing a bit of a scene, but most people are like also keeping their distance because you're all larger people. Nobody's really calling the guard though yet, because nothing worthy of calling the guard over has happened. And there are penalties, like if you call a guard over when no one is actually in any sort of danger, or like somebody just being a little loud or a little bit like threatening is enough that like a guard might come over if you called them over and be like, what are you wasting my time for, huh? You want me to bring an assessor in here to look at this situation and see if like it's a problem?
I'll quickly just take a look around to see if I can see any visible sensors around that are maybe looking at us. But
yeah, so you'll notice that like the lampposts that are here each have a little sensor at the top of them.
Are we below a lamp?
You are in range of a lamppost.
Okay. I'll just kind of like try to play it off that I'm just like looking around, and I'll also note those.
Mm-hmm.
And then now I'll just turn back and say, I think we've caused enough commotion out here. Let's head to this Cresthaven Hall.
Yeah, follow me.
Yeah. Should be fun.
I'll make sure to keep close to Lynn and like trying to put myself between her and them, especially this other Hobgork who shook me a bit.
All right, so the five of you can make your way down the city streets. I have to make a check here. Anytime you travel a substantial distance.
D100, it's the Iron Golem.
Oh,
In
God.
the middle of the streets. Just
Boom, boom. Hello. No, you guys can make it to Cresthaven Hall with no problem. As you arrive, let me get some Cresthaven Hall stuff going here. Because this is definitely not Cresthaven Hall music. Do apologize. I did not get this stuff set up in advance like I wanted to. That was part of today's plan and it did not happen.
So I don't know if I forgot this or whatever, but in public there's supposed to be invisible sensors. So were these like? Do we know? Do we?
So what you know, one of the things that you do know is that lampposts are always scrying
Always
sensors.
sensors.
Or
Okay.
in it, if they're not, it's still better to assume that they are.
Okay. So this is like public knowledge that they have obvious sensors kind of like around.
Yes.
But we also know that they have like invisible ones
Yep.
that we don't know about. Okay. Good to know.
Let's play a little bit of with this. All right. As you enter Cresthaven Hall, it is a very like deep-toned kind of place on the outside. Very large, dark wooden structure. Most likely some kind of combination of ebony and redwood that was imported in here to make the structure of the building. Inside, the inners are matched in the same way. An ebony floor is laid out before you with tall redwood walls. Much of the furnishings are sort of toned to match with a bit of a darker tone of cedar and a nice long granite countertop towards the center of the room. This very wide rectangular entryway that opens into this like central point and then branches out in 3 other directions from where you come in. There are a variety of people roaming about the area, some with drinks, some playing darts, some playing a game of pool, some playing a variety of like little board games that have been stretched out upon tables, some just sitting around and having a casual time, and a small band is up on the stage playing a smooth, mellow, smoky tone.
So would my associates in here know that if I'm bringing somebody in, that's somebody that they should be paying attention to?
Yes.
Or do I need? Okay, cool.
That is sort of the sign if you're bringing someone in that they are the kind of person to talk to. I'm assuming on the way here, one of the two of you went to fetch Augustin.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, Augustin will show up a little while after the 5 of you do. And yeah, you can, I don't know if Greybloom has his favorite table, but you can show them to one of them if you do. If not, otherwise you can show them to your favorite table.
Yeah, I'll walk them over to a nice spot.
Okay.
An
Oh, you were right.
easily
This is a nice
observable spot by the associates and me.
Yeah, is there anything you guys want to discuss before Augustin gets here?
I assume we're kind of like off in our little corners, so like me and Lynn would be like keeping to ourselves a little bit,
Yeah.
and like they would be talking to themselves. So I'd just be like whispering to Lynn and be like, "We want to be careful here. We don't know what their intentions are, especially when they bring up blackmail in the first introduction of themselves. I don't like this."
I don't like it either, but what choice do we have? If they rat
Don't.
me out, I can't have that happen. I worked too hard to get where I am with my business. I know it's not great yet, but I've worked hard at it, and I can't just let it go to waste. Think of all the people. We have to do this for them. Let's be on our A game. And I kind of like chin up.
Meanwhile, while they're whispering, I'm whispering to her like, these guys seem like good guys. He does a lot of good work for people. I kind of like him. Why is he scared that people will find out he does good for people?
Yes, she seems to help out the lower class quite a lot. Honorable, I guess, if you're into that kind of thing.
So do either of you have ranks in knowledge local?
I do
Yes.
No, not very.
Give me a knowledge local check then. Yeah, so you'll know enough to know that, like, going out and doing charitable deeds as a wealthy person is a very common way of actually trying to do some form of either money laundering or getting some illicit substances into your company, or there's almost always some kind of negative behavior attached to it, and it almost always summons an assessor. And while assessors don't necessarily always mean something bad is going to happen, they get into literally everything when it happens, and so it can really put a big like wrench in a lot of your business as you're trying to keep things going. So like many companies have been very frustrated because like some staff member of theirs has inadvertently done something stupid, and like an assessor or like sometimes 2 or 3 will show up. And in that case, like everybody has to be on their A+ game, or assessors start getting deeper and deeper into things. And the deeper they get, the more mistakes tend to happen, because once you have a bunch of nervous people trying to do their job, it becomes a lot harder to do your job. And so things start to kind of fall apart. Eventually, if nothing is really wrong, the assessors will finally leave and chalk it up to like, okay, this was probably just some mismanagement here. But it's a lot of stress until you get to that point, and a good amount of productivity loss until you get to that point. So the biggest threat here isn't necessarily that this will ruin their lives, but it will be that it will cause a significant thing. And if, for example, maybe somebody in the business is a problematic entity, it could like work like a house of cards. So nobody that runs a large enough business wants an assessor showing up at all.
Yeah, so I'll just turn to Drakus and say, good deeds don't always mean good people. She might be doing it for other purposes. Illicit goods, drugs, who knows. Just because it looks good on the surface doesn't mean it's good down below, and it can attract a lot of unwanted attention.
Oh, you said illicit drugs and what else?
Illicit goods and drugs and or
Yeah,
drugs.
illicit goods and drugs.
I'm assuming they're in the illicit goods and drugs now.
I mean, her parents are pretty sure Valerio is doing some kind of drugs, so
It all makes sense now.
his family got picked up for something that no one talks about. He's been trying to get a little piece of the money here and there. But eventually, Augustin will make his way into the establishment, look around a bit. Big place. And he'll make his way over to the table and set himself down. Augustin is a rather rotund man. He looks to be probably some blend of humanoid, of human and dwarf. He's got a bit of a slow walk as he makes his way up to the table, pulls back a chair, and then kind of sets himself down into it, but doesn't really adjust the chair to sit towards the table, gesturing over one of the wenches, as he literally calls them. Oh. So, you're Lynn, is that right?
That's what my friends call me.
And we're...
You haven't earned the rights for that. I will go by Jocelyn for now.
Valeria will nod heavily.
Fair enough, Jocelyn. So, Miss De Cruz, I believe that you understand that I have a business arrangement for you, yes?
Is that what we're calling it? You basically forced me to come
I
here.
would be careful what you say. If I get in trouble, your family gets in trouble.
My charities are not a bargaining chip. I kind of just whisper and sort of like clutch my fist on the table.
Neither were mine until they got me in trouble. Your parents gave up on me because I left the district. I don't care whether or not you feel like you're being hurt here. Yours hurt me first.
You know my parents?
Your parents used to buy meat from me regularly. Don't you remember when the meat was better?
What? I'm just gonna roll an int just to see, like, maybe I have some memory. I don't even know if I would have been old enough to remember.
Yeah, you remember, like, meal quality. One of the other things that is depreciated is meal quality, even for you. Like, certain meats have stopped existing. So maybe there was some, like, you know, very rare sort of creature or very rare piece of kind of vegetation that can't really grow within here that was being brought in. And now there's no access to it because there's no hunters or anyone on the outside bringing these things in. And there's no real economy for people to, like, truck them in from the outside.
Ray remembers when meat was good. He thinks to himself as he's seething.
Does it make sense? Would my family have hunted for him at some point? Or
yeah, it is likely that your family also did some level of hunting for him.
I'm sorry. I do seem to remember that. What did you say your name is?
Augustin Laska. For 40 years I've been making the best meats that you can find. And that's saying a lot, especially in these last few. Unfortunately, another has sort of taken over the role for all of you, but I would barely eat his meats, even knowing where they come from and knowing where mine do.
Do you have... So what is it to you? You have brought me... What is the name of this tavern?
Cresthaven Hall.
So what is it that is so important about what I am doing that you felt the need to present this information your accomplice here has brought to me? And there has to be something quite important.
I'm looking to move into a largely untapped market. I've discovered that, as it stands, sometimes meat from the outer wall that gets inside can disappear and nobody keeps count of it. No one's actively keeping an eye on what happens to the meat. It's all, as long as it gets turned in and everybody makes their coin, nobody really complains. There's no real law against it. At least not one that we've found, and we have a special exemption anyway. He'll like wink over to Sara, thanks to my business partner here. So we're looking to utilize this to our advantage. However, it's hard to sell more valuable meats to people who don't have the wealth. So if perhaps we had the right face to promote the meats, we can make sure that this is a endeavor that can keep other people paid for and taken care of.
I think I catch your drift. Essentially, this is a better. You think we could potentially do what I'm doing now, but perhaps my father would not be as mad at me. So I should keep my mouth shut. And then I kind of points back to Tess and to Dracus. And tell me, I don't suppose you're meat manufacturers too. You don't look it to me. You guys are in this meeting too, right? It's we're all like gathered around.
Yeah, we're all here.
You asked, did we get the meat?
No, I asked like
If you're packers of meat.
Oh,
you don't look
Oh.
like he does. You don't have that look.
No, I deal with the more of the paperwork side of the business and some spices, if we want to call it that.
Yes, he's
no,
a
he's
great
just a
seasoner.
friend of the family.
Well, you're my chief hunter, of course. At this point, that will be your new title once we get things going.
Hunter, you're able to hunt outside?
Not outside. But what was outside? Right, you've been finding quite a bit, I've heard rumors of.
Yeah, on occasion, some things find their way in, and I take care of it.
Feels like there's been more of it lately, hasn't there?
Yeah, there has been an upsurge. Keeps me busy, keeps my eyes sharp, keeps my skills up.
So I'm very happy to hear that. It's what the rumors that have been going around have been. I think this would make quite a profitable endeavor for all of us. We'll have a better selection of meat, one that's not being enhanced by means that we don't have access to, ones that we could call natural. And who doesn't love the sound of natural spiced meats?
Sounds delicious.
I agree. What do you say, Jocelyn? Don't you want to be the face of a new product? Of a new future? You could feed a lot of people.
I don't care so much about the face. If the people get fed, I am on board.
Well, we need a face to sell it. Money has to come in from somewhere. We get the money from the top. It all trickles down. Trickle down's what this city used to be built on. Now it's vacuum up.
Valeria, do you know about selling meat from your hunting days? Did you learn anything from your parents, or?
Didn't work.
Did I?
Repeat that question, sorry.
Do I have knowledge of like meat selling from my parents, or like dealing with him maybe specifically, or do I have any memories of this?
Or not even necessarily selling it, just logistics of actual meat. That like, if he feeds me details, I can use to make sales pitches.
So, as far as Valerio's knowledge of it, probably not a lot. Your family probably didn't talk a lot of shop with you. Maybe they were starting to kind of train you as things started to go south. But you would have you'd have kind of gotten the like lesser benefits of things. You know, though, that like all of you would know that right now meat is a more valuable commodity that you can get access to. It is largely just the Inner Sanctum that has meat. Laskas is kind of a rarity and a dying rarity at that. But it is hard, again, from the outside to breach like your product into the Inner Sanctum. And so a lot of what you would be doing has less to do with knowing how to sell the meat and more so just being willing to talk about how you eat the meat. I don't need a marketeer. I need a spokesperson. I need a face to sell it to your kind.
I can talk people into a lot of things. I just don't know much about meat, but if you're sure that is not what is required, I'm sure I could find ways to make people want it.
Do you like meat? You walk around with quite a big piece of it.
Can I gauge him to see if he is getting at any ulterior motives, or if he's
give me a gauge
body
check.
language gives off anything? Or let's go. No.
No.
I'll do it.
Splendid. Here is your contract. Actually, I think, Tassara, you have his contract, right? And hand that over to him.
I will slide it over.
I'll, of course, keep my copy. But, it'll remain private and locked away where it belongs. Nothing will come up of it unless you were to breach it by chance. But you can do with that one whatever you will.
Fine. Take it and I put it into my little backpack.
Well, then, if you don't mind, could you please report to my office tomorrow morning? And we'll start on the marketing materials.
Very good, we can do that.
Splendid. I am so glad we can come together and make such a great business arrangement. He will finish up his drink. But for now, if you'll excuse me, I must be getting back to my business. The four of you should really spend some time getting to know each other. You're likely to be working very closely with each other in the coming days. One maybe directly or indirectly. And he stands up, and if nobody interrupts him, makes his way out. As the sort of five of you are sitting there, I guess Greybloom's kind of probably like just hanging out in the back, right?
Yeah, so essentially, yeah, I led them to that, and then I went to my actual favorite spot, which is the easiest spot to observe everything from.
So eventually, like, you'll get a couple of nods from the people you normally get nods from. And one of them will kind of make the gesture for you to head over to their table and check in. And like they kind of go over, check in on them, and another person's going to come over in just a moment, gesture. So it is your thing to do first.
Well, yeah, they just motioned to come over, right?
They motion for you to go over to their table and like check on them and see how they're doing. Kind of like keeping them at the table so one of them can come over to the table.
Okay. Yeah, I'll head over. So, nice place, right?
I quite enjoy it. Yeah, it was a good idea.
Yeah, a lot of things you could spend entertainment points on here if you're so inclined. did we have like drinks and stuff here?
Yeah.
Or is it okay? I'll recommend my favorite drink. What is our specialty drink here?
So that's a good question. I hadn't actually thought about that. Let me do something real quick.
It's the Order's Wrath.
It is definitely
It's
not
here.
the Order's Wrath. No one here can afford an Order's Wrath. But I was going to do was go through a couple of different spells.
5 shots of Boom Boom Juice.
Boom Boom Juice hasn't spread out here yet. This is called the... I had an idea for what I wanted to name this, though. They have a special mixed drink called the Obscure Poison. It comes in like a bubbling, frothy like jar or like potion bottle.
Yeah, might I recommend the Obscure Poison? It is our specialty drink.
Another gentleman walks up, a rather tall, elven gentleman, very, very slender, and very sort of like dark for an elf. He has like kind of a dirty blondish hair, and like sort of very dark green eyes. Some joke that it's to die for.
Who are you?
Yes. I am Greybloom's good friend. Whom are the four of you?
Asara.
I'm Dreka. Nice to meet you.
Same.
Jocelyn.
Valerio.
Greybloom tells me you're enjoying it here.
Greybloom seems rather chatty about everything we're doing here. I'm not even sure why you brought us here, actually.
I thought you guys might want to enjoy yourselves. Lots of stuff to do here.
Greybloom likes to bring us in business from time to time, you know. It's very hard to find a good, quiet place to do things. And I'm sure if he overheard some sort of conversation you were having about looking for a private place, he would have offered this place. There is no place more private than Cresthaven Hall.
And not enthusiastically.
Well, then I guess we are so lucky to have him overhear us.
I couldn't help but notice, though, over there, you all seemed to be having a rather engaging discussion. Was everything okay? I want to make sure all of our patrons are very happy.
I assure you everything is quite fine.
It is just business after all. Business is always the most, well, if you're not passionate about business, then what are you passionate about?
Yeah, that's a fair point. Some would say that it's better to be more passionate about developing the relationships that we have with each other and establishing a better life than the one that those who came before us have lived. But everyone has their own opinion, right?
I agree with that.
Why not both?
It can be rough, though, sometimes to have a better life around these parts, right?
At the end of the day, we're all humanoids. We all go through, life. Maybe one day it will be more similar for everybody. maybe. She kind of just drinks.
It's a very different thing, though, to see a girl like you here. We don't get a lot of people like you around here. We see the rest of the three of you here. People like you more regularly. You must have some sort of drive for these kinds of people.
Well, I care very much about my brother. If my brother wants to go grab beers at Cresthaven Hall, I'll go grab beers at Cresthaven Hall.
Your brother looks like he's been through a lot. And the elf turns to look at you, Valerio. Life's been tough for you?
Not to be rude, but what is this, therapy session? We're just here for some drinks. Why are you going into all of our trying to read our thoughts or something?
I very humbly apologize. I like to get to know our customers. It does help with business. It is a very big help for business in a lot of ways. I just want to make sure that, like, there's nothing we can do to help make your life a little bit better and a little bit more joyful.
No, I think I'm good right now.
Well, I think you could learn a lot from your friend over here, and he points over at Drekis. Drekis seems to be enjoying himself and seems pretty happy with things. Life's doing pretty well for you, Drekis?
Well, Great Bloom's good friend. I mean, it could be worse, but it could be better too, I suppose. I have a lot better than most, so I can't really complain.
I think everybody should have the right to complain from time to time. Just not an earshot of any of the wrong kind of people, am I right?
He sighs heavily.
And as he asks that, he kind of looks over the group of you. Can I get bluff checks from each of you? And Valerio, I will tell you what your gauge check gives you as this happens.
Oh.
I assume I don't need to make
You don't need to make one, no. So yeah, he looks over the four of you, and Valerio, you realize what that question is being asked for. And your brain is like in the process of processing, like, why is he asking that question? And it's then that you like realize like your face is kind of like expressing something that you didn't expect to. But you get the idea that he's like very pointedly, he's asking like loose but pointed questions to try to ascertain how you feel about your life, your quality of life, and the quality of life of others.
Mine actually did it twice, so I'll take the first one.
Okay, thank you. That is how I'll do it either way. Oh, actually, oh no, that was Valerio's gauge. Did I get Lynn's on there? Oh yeah, there it is. So.
Oh, did you need a buff from me too? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Gotcha. My bad.
Yeah. So his focus seems to like shift though to Lynn. You're an interesting little one. You have a lot of affection for your brother here, don't you?
I would die for him. Please don't put it to the test.
I would never ask such a thing or threaten such a thing. Sometimes I wish that things could be better. Sometimes there are ideas or thoughts of there being better things, but I don't know, they seem like a dream of the past. Well, I suppose that's just the way things are, right?
History has a way of repeating itself at times. I didn't catch your name.
I'll make you a deal. If you can find my name, if you can catch my name, I'll give you all a drink. On the house.
Gray Bloom, was it? What's his name? I point at him.
He'll kind of like stroll away. And as he strolls away, a small piece of paper falls onto the floor behind him.
Dracus pounces on it, super excited.
Give me a reflex save, because Lynn is also going for it.
Ah, no. Okay.
You got me. Sure, don't worry about it. Oh!
Yeah, just barely. You both get like real close on each other. The three of you get real close on each other. But Dracus, you grab hold of it first.
I got it. I read it. What does it say?
The little piece of paper is basically says northeast. So you guys are in sort of the southwest of this building. And it is the like cross is pointed northeast, northwest, southeast, southwest.
I'm gonna slam it on the table. It says northeast. We're a team. We're all getting free drinks. Let's do it.
All this work for some free drinks.
And
it's not a name.
Yeah.
You said it says northeast on it.
Oh, that's not the name?
No, it's...
How do you know?
What kind of crazy person would name their kid North?
Northwest, I think, is a more reasonable name.
Let me see it. You've already caught it. You've already won the drinks. I need to see it.
To see what?
Slammed it down on the table. It's right there.
Oh, yeah,
Pick it
it's
up.
on the table. I'll put it like in the middle of everybody.
So it just says like northeast on it?
Does anybody have any ranks in linguistics?
Hell yeah! I feel important.
Oh, and of course you buy.
Shit.
That's okay. 10 is enough to realize that when it's kind of slammed down on the table and you're looking at the way the writing is, there is a word in Elven here that says that is the Elven word for wall. And then the number 3.
It appears there's some hidden writing on here. I can see the word an Elven wall and the number 3.
His name is Three Wall. I knew it.
I look at Grey Bloom. Is there perhaps a third wall in the northeast of this building or something?
Or that.
Yeah, typically 4 walls.
That would be all around us, dingus. I said in the northeast specifically. Is there like a section off?
You know the northeast would have 3 walls. One on the left, one on the right, one straight ahead.
Why don't we just go look in the northeast, then? I get up and start heading to the northeast.
Okay.
I guess we're going there.
Hang on one sec. Let's take a really short break.
Yeah, perfect.
And then we'll see what you guys want to do with the note. Be right back. We're back. So, I know Dracus is heading towards the northeast. Is anyone following?
I suppose I shall.
I don't want to be left alone with the sponge, so I will definitely be going where Dracus is going, since he's kind of my quote-unquote bodyguard for the...
Likewise, I am sticking very near Valerio.
Yeah.
Okay. Grey Bloom, I'm assuming you're doing as you're supposed to and following a little ways behind them just to keep an eye on them.
Oh yeah, I'm watching.
the four of you make your way up to the northeast, and give me a perception. There we go. Good job, Valerio. So the four of you are kind of like looking about as you're making your way over there. And Valerio, you happen to move into just the right spot. And notice there are these little like number placards on the tables. And when you're standing in just the right place, they line up with a series of doors in the distance. 2, 1, and 3.
I'll call Lynn over and say, hey, look at this. Can you see this?
Oh, yes, Yes, we're in the northeast. On the wall, there are placards, and there's a 2, a 1, and a 3. So I think we go...
a 3.
I think we go to the 3, but wait. They're in the order of... Yes, this is the third one on the wall. Everything does seem to check out.
I start reaching for the third placard.
For the placard? It's on somebody else's table.
Oh, it's on someone's table.
Yeah.
Okay. I go to the third placard table.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Oh, yeah, yes.
Have you seen a slender elven man walking around? He works here. You know his name?
Works here.
Yeah.
I thought it was all busty women that worked here.
Nah, never mind. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Do you work here then? If there are not just busty women?
Busty woman.
No, you seem to believe there are none. So maybe I was wrong. Could you get me a drink?
I don't work here.
It is really so wild that I can't believe they're having such good happy hour specials just down the street right now. Are you sure they're still having those, sir?
Happy hour specials? What are you talking about? Down the street.
You just said it yourself. Where there's some sort of happy hour down the street. Did I mishear you, sir?
Happy hour? I don't know. I haven't heard about a happy hour in a long time. I've heard mostly about disappointing hours.
Then why'd you say it?
Can I do some sort of check to understand what Lynn's doing here and try to help her, or?
You can give me a bluff to assist.
Okay, so I can.
You've kind of known her to do this from time to time. You're coming off as confused as well.
Man. Come on.
I don't know. I was maybe you were confused. I was talking about the busty waitresses.
Oh, well, maybe it was the busty waitress. You were just saying though that you were gonna ask that one out or something. It was like I don't know. I think you should go talk to her. I think she likes you.
You think she likes me?
I really do.
Huh. Maybe I should.
I would recommend not calling her the busty waitress, though. Ask for her name.
He will get up from the table, and as he does so, you will notice a small piece of paper on his seat.
I like, do I notice it, or is it like very easy to tell?
It's very easy to tell it's there.
Okay. I was gonna start searching the wall, but that was apparently not the next step. I'll take the note and put it on the table, kind of subtly, but I don't know if.
So the note has parentheses, colon, parentheses, like open parentheses, colon, close parentheses.
All right, Miss Tess, is that your name? What do you see here?
Even I know what this means. We gotta read between the lines. I like point at the thing of the
So this doesn't match anything you know about linguistics, but you know this is, like, looking at this, this is kind of a universal symbol for, like, the dichotomy of happiness. That no matter how you turn it, you can be both happy and sad. Like the smile is upside down and with the eyes. Well, I guess actually I'm sorry. I have it wrong. It's open parentheses, colon, open parentheses. I said close parentheses. Open parentheses, colon, open parentheses.
Can you just type it on chat, Steve?
Yep.
It's, yeah, I see. It is. It's either sad, or it's happy, or it's wearing a hat, or it's sad. Two sads. Wait.
No. You're looking at it wrong. It's a curvy road.
Oh,
See, those are the lines in between, and then it's a curve.
Are there any brains in that head of yours?
it's. I. Why would you keep your eyebrow like that? That's. Would you pluck it or something? Oh.
It's just a symbol for being happy and sad all at once.
But what? How is that a clue? That's
I am unsure.
happy and sad. Happy and sad. Where are people happy and sad? Well, a bar, I'm sure. But we're already in a bar. I kind of look around for someone that looks happy and sad.
There are lots of people that look happy
Yeah,
and sad.
I figured as much.
An insight check here help at all?
Yeah, give me an insight check.
Oh, and I roll like terrible.
Let me flip the paper over. Is there anything on the other side of the paper?
No.
Did you ever mention that the plaques lined up with the door?
I mentioned
Well,
okay, you're saying
I didn't notice it.
Yep. You're saying, yeah,
Yeah.
only Lynn had that pointed out, sure. He has not pointed out to anybody else.
Other than Valerio, briefly.
Well, Valerio found it out and told Lynn, and then that's the furthest it's gone.
I'm gonna try playing with the two pieces of paper, see if anything cool happens or anything.
Nope, not quite that kind of puzzle.
Maybe we need to bring this to the door that this thing lined up with.
Do you think so? Do what you will, brother. I'll follow you.
What do you guys think? I think this is a curvy road. Maybe it's like a metaphor for life. But maybe we're supposed to get to that door that this lined up with, and it'll be a curvy path there.
Oh, this lines up with a door? Why haven't we gone through this door yet?
Because this is the third plaque. Door
Yes.
wall 3.
Door, wall, 3, and it lines up with a door. You don't think that maybe we're supposed to use the third door?
But then why was there a wall?
And why was there a paper?
And why was there something on the paper?
And why?
Can we go try the door already?
Just to make sure that this is going exactly how it's supposed to. I know Lynn has a very low intel.
Intelligence is good.
Okay. Does Valerio have a low int?
Average 10.
Oh, okay.
I have a racial modifier of -2 to it, so I don't know.
Okay.
But like overall, I'm 10.
Okay. So yeah, you guys can make your way over to the door.
I'm thoroughly rolling my eyes at everyone and just being like, oh, what is this bunch?
The door has a little engraving on it that says the gallery.
Gallery.
I look
It's an
at
art gallery. Clearly, we have to find something that is happy and sad in the art gallery.
Aha! I like it. Let's try it out. I open the door.
Yep. You can open up the door, and it is, as it says, first there are some stairs that lead downward. a little ways, but when you get to the bottom, there is an art gallery on the lower floor. Down here, there are paintings that line the wall. Some have fresh ink. Some have probably been here for a while. There are a few people roaming around and enjoying the art.
I look for a curvy road painting.
Yeah, give me a perception then, if that is what you're looking for. Yeah, you will find a painting of a long curving road that leads to the sunset, with two little ants walking their way towards the sunset.
Yeah, I'm definitely
Guys,
gonna be
check
looking
this
for
out.
something that seems happy and sad.
Okay. You can find this very, very... well, give me an insight along with this. I want to make sure that since you have insight. Yeah. So you can find a painting that, as you're looking upon it, is sort of abstract. When you look at it a certain way, it definitely leaves you with a feeling of joy. But as you look at it differently, you notice that really there is great misery in the painting. This thing is kind of wearing a facade of joy. The curve of its lips and the furrow of its brow expresses an inward pain within the creature. And you can actually kind of see that some of the darker shades in it reflect a hidden frown and a sagging eye structure. And a slight hint of like tears that kind of fade into the skin. I want to get a different set of different music running here. Well,
I normally will always support you, brother, here, but I'm with our new blackmail. I mean, Tess. The man he mentioned a lot of things. He said something about people not being as they are, things needing to change. I think your interpretation is too literal. It's a red herring, as they would say.
You're right, Lynn. I go close to her and whisper, I'm taking a page out of that other Hobgork's book. He's playing dumb, so am I.
Oh, if you're really, really sure it's the road one.
This is the one! The road!
Very, very well.
But let's check hers out too right now. Because I don't see anything else here.
Yeah, I was instinctively going to be like, I cast Detect Magic, and I'm like, nope.
Rip.
Nope. I look over the painting in the most non-magical way, just sort of...
Is there a placard, like, with an artist name?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask too. Is there an artist?
there is a note on it. There is a name on it that says A Path to Mystery. But no artist name.
The title of the painting.
The painting of a happy yet sad figure is called A Path to Mystery.
This whole thing's a path to mystery. I'm confused.
How big is this painting?
The same size. All the paintings are on like a standard a more standardized canvas size, which I think is I think most standard canvas
I like
size.
her thought. She's thinking you could move it aside and it's a pathway. I think is what you were getting at.
Sorry, I was catching up. It says A Path to Mystery.
A Path to
Yes.
Mystery. Yeah, like 24 by. It's about 24 by 12.
I look around. Is anyone watching us look at this painting?
I mean, there are people looking at other paintings, but like some of them get real close to them and like point at the inks or.
I don't see anyone seemingly watching us or keeping an eye on us.
Give me a perception.
I will gladly.
Should I roll my stealth?
Give me a stealth, yeah.
Oh,
Nice. So close.
So nobody seems to be keeping an eye on you.
I turn back to the painting. Path to mystery. What does it mean?
I'm gonna try to poke it.
Don't touch! I don't think we're supposed to touch painting.
I'll stop.
Are there any seemingly hidden things or mechanisms or anything around this painting? My perception stuff.
You are looking around. There doesn't seem to be any sort of any like hidden buttons or levers or anything like that around the painting.
Could there perhaps be another painting here of not a curved road, but a road to something mysterious?
Yeah, I guess I look around for another painting that looks. I don't know. I mean, what do we look for? A path to mystery.
Yeah. So give me, Valerio, give me a perception as you're looking around for another like pathway thing. So you like look around and you like see again that the only road-based painting is the painting called "The Misery of Joy."
Was that my aunt painting?
Yeah.
I told you. I found it. My original painting was called "The Misery of Joy," and I could tell those ants were burning alive in the sun in their long journey.
Perhaps the lesson is there's multiple ways to solve a problem. I don't know. Who is this man and what is he trying to teach us? I've been blackmailed and now I'm just. I like kind of say, okay. What do you see, brother?
I mean, nothing else but that painting. The title seems like maybe the titles are mixed up. Seems like this one should be called "The Misery and Joy" one. The other one should be "The Path of Mystery." Maybe this is a clue.
Can the nameplates move?
Are you gonna you want to test it?
Yep. I'm gonna poke it.
Yeah. If you push it, it'll like you can like push it sideways and it'll fall out of the thing that's holding it in place. And like some of the people will turn around but then turn back, not really concerned.
I'm gonna say, oh, I'm gonna put it back.
Okay.
Maybe we have to swap the nameplates?
Would that do anything?
I don't know. Or if the nameplates are swapped, perhaps the placards on the doors are also swapped. Maybe. They were out of order, weren't they?
That is true. Maybe we were supposed to go through the third door, not the one labeled 3. And maybe he assumed we'd go this way, and this clue was to redirect us to that, because we're mixed up, just like these paintings are.
I'm gonna switch the plaques.
Okay. You can switch the plaques. You take one down and move it over to the other one and put that into place. And give me a perception check while you're doing that. Yeah, nothing seems unusual to you as you do it. But you replace the placards on both of them. Grey Bloom, you are watching. They have done the right thing now. You're surprised that like when he moved the placards, he didn't notice the change.
Shrug.
But there is something in the room that has changed. Can I get a perception check from the other 3 of you? There's one. Ooh, lots of you are gonna get this.
I'm kill.
All 3 of the rest of you will notice that a small like handle, like door handle, has like come out of one of the walls, and that Valerio and Lynn, you notice that the people that were here before are gone.
Where did everyone go?
I was off looking at other paintings. I hear you say that, and then I'll look up and notice.
Well, do we go try that handle?
This isn't the third door, though. What about my theory? It sounded so good, though, didn't it?
I don't think your
I was
theory's
with you,
correct.
brother, but I think we're too far down in the hole, as they say right now. Let's come back to the surface. I don't like touching door handles. How about you do it?
One of the two beefy ones, you want to go touch the door handle just in case?
I'll grab the door handle and try to open
Okay.
You take.
Yep. You are going to take. I'm sorry. Does a 25 hit?
Yes.
Take 2 points of damage as a little spike punctures out into your hand.
Ah!
Of course, there's always something more to it.
You probably knew about that, didn't you? I glare at
Of course not.
Sarah. She wanted to get back at me for earlier.
You think I have any idea what's happening in here? But I mean, it was a little entertaining to watch.
Can anyone do anything about it?
I take the I should have some silk rope in my bag. So can I take some silk rope out? And did I notice where the spike came out? Like, did it just come out like out of the whole handle?
It came out of the handle. There's like a row of spikes that come out as you go to grab it.
A row of spikes.
Yeah,
okay.
like you go to put your hand on it, and like spikes jut out of the actual handle itself, around the outside.
Is this like a round handle?
It is like a round handle.
Oh, I don't think I can.
Is there any like gauntlet or anything around in the room?
Ooh, give me a perception. Yeah, you'll notice a small art piece that looks like sort of a fingered gauntlet, like a chain gauntlet, but it's like painted in such a way and like has these like decorative elements of it, and it is named The Rage That Can Never Be.
I just go take it off the shelf.
Okay.
Yeah, try it with this. I just toss it to Valyria.
Is it big? Could it fit in my hand? On my hand?
You could get it around your hand well enough. It's a rather large gauntlet.
I look at the palm. Does it look like it's going to protect my hand from a spike?
It looks like it would be pretty protective.
All right, I trust Lynn. I just give her one last look and then I reach for it again.
Yep, you reach forward and you you feel it push against the handle, and it feels a little uncomfortable to turn, but you still manage to turn it without taking any damage. And the door opens, and there are more stairs down.
Should I leave this here? I look to Lynn.
I don't know. Do you know who owns all this stuff? Is this all this individual, or is this a public exhibit that we're robbing from? We don't want to get the attention of assessors, you know that.
I have no idea. I'm just going to put it back because I have no idea what the rules are. And I'll lead the way. I'll stand in front and walk through, or walk down the stairs.
I'll before we go down, I'm going to if it doesn't immediately mess with the door, I just want to swap the placards back.
Okay.
As long as the door is still open.
Yep. Grey Bloom. Grey Bloom, you know to note that down. And the four of you can make your way down the stairs. As you make your way down the stairs, here you find a room with a handful of what look like sculptures. There is a crying man resting his head on on a bench, kind of knelt over it and crying onto the bench. There is a woman clutching her child very tightly and looking upward in fear of something. And to the right, to the left is the benched man. To the front is the woman clutching her child. And to the right is a man dressed in what looks like regal clothes.
So we just walk into like a square room? And
a small square room with these 3 pieces of art on each of the walls.
I guess just perception to see anything else in the room of note, or is it just literally these 3 things? I guess that's all I see.
Just these 3 things.
What is this now?
Well, either we missed a clue or clearly there's some connection between everything that we've done so far. Can you re-describe the 3 pieces of art one more time?
Yes, there is a man with his head down on a bench, knelt over it, crying. There is a woman clutching her child in fear and looking up at like perspective of anybody standing in front of it. And there is someone dressed in regal garb.
Is he just staring forward?
He is just staring forward.
Seems like a lot of these clues have been about perspective, and I go to the angle the sculptures are and look where the sculptures are looking. So I'll do the man first.
Okay.
I'll look the way he's looking to see if I see anything.
Yeah, so you will look the way the man is looking, and you will give me a perception.
Oh God.
Yeah, you don't see anything particular about this.
I'll move to I'll try to do it for each sculpture, the way they're looking. I want to look the same way.
Yeah, give me a perception for each.
Ooh.
Yeah, so with the second one, if you're looking in this perspective, you, like, get the impression that this person is, like, looking at something specific. Maybe it's designed to capture the look of a person standing before it, or maybe something else.
What if... It seems like everyone here has known quite a bit about us. The regal garb, whether I like it or not, it is who I am. What of the woman clutching a child in fear? Does that strike anything with any of you? Any of you lost a mother?
Yeah. I think probably that's not too uncommon.
Well...
Yes, as you know, both my parents are dead or missing.
But it is explicitly a woman. And a man with a head down his bench crying.
Does resemble 3 of us, but there are 4 here.
Well, perhaps we have to figure out which of the 3. I'm gonna go stand next to the individual in regal garb. I don't know if I'm right or not, but that is my hypothesis.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna go stand and look in the same way that the individual in regal garb is looking in front of the statue.
Give me a perception.
Nope.
I'll follow suit. I'll go near the woman clutching her child.
Okay. Yeah.
Look up.
Give me a perception. Yeah. Do you see the same thing? It looks like this is designed to look at a perspective at something.
Is there any paint, grooves, anything on the walls or on the ceiling or on the floor?
Give me another perception with that question. With an 11, that's enough to notice there are, like, the floor is, like, a bit unevenly worn in certain places, but you're not exactly sure why.
I'm gonna act like I almost trip over it. Oh, the floor's uneven over here. I almost fell.
I flex my muscles and I kind of try to push the statues a little bit. Do they look like they're movable?
Which statue are you trying first?
The one people aren't standing on. So the weeping man on the bench.
The weeping man cannot be moved.
Okay. I guess I'd try the other ones. I'd walk up and say, "Hey, these things. You think these things can move?"
Which one are you trying next?
I'll just go to the woman crying, or
the path to misery, right?
If you push on the woman crying, she will move. There are like slight wheels on the bottom of this thing.
Perhaps we gotta recreate the scene here. Perhaps she's looking up at this regal figure. When I'm shifting it, does it look like it's on like a track, or I can literally move it?
You
like,
can move it in any direction.
I'll just go with that theory if no one stops me. I start rolling it towards the regal figure. Does it look like I can position it where she's looking up at him? Or
you can, and you can position it so like she looks exactly like she's looking into his eyes, and that he is looking into hers.
All right, I do so.
Yeah,
I'm like moving it.
Yep, you can get it there, but nothing will happen.
I go to the regal man. Does he have wheels as well?
You push on him, and he moves as well.
The only one that does that one. Perhaps we got to create the scene over there. Help me move this. I'll start moving towards the.
I'll go help. I'll move the other one.
Okay. Yeah, the two big muscular guys are moving things around. Can I get a perception from the other two of you while they're moving them?
It's quite impressive what they can do, Tess, yes?
Yes, quite.
So Tess, you're kind of watching as they move these things about, and give me a knowledge local as this is happening. As they kind of move things into place, something kind of clicks in your head. What's going on here? The man crying is a man who's probably betrayed the city. The noble represents maybe an assessor who's kind of come to take the livelihood of these people away. The man is on the bench in tears, probably at one point standing before the assessor begging, but now dropped to nothingness. And the woman clutches to her child, knowing that all she can do is plead with this noble before the child will be left to be of its own devices.
Yeah, so I will just say, looks like the statues depict a rather cruel depiction of our city. It seems that man may be an assessor, and this man and woman probably at his mercy.
When you say that, there is a slight whisper that kind of fills the air around you. Like many voices are asking the question, are you truly happy here?
Do we all hear this, or just
all of you hear this?
I'm trying to assess if this is some sort of government trap to get traders out.
You don't think so? I mean, this is really elaborate for a government trap.
I mean, I think Tess would quickly answer to the whisper no, because I don't feel like just saying I'm unhappy is going to lead to anything bad. It's the truth. Doesn't mean I'm doing anything bad to just say the truth.
Every part of this last setup reminds him of his life, so he super angrily says no.
The people are starving. What do you think?
How best do you create change? You hear.
You resist it.
Roll credits.
I don't know.
Be the change you want to see.
I guess you try.
Valeria will grow his claws, and he will scratch the assessor statue.
Okay. As you attack the assessor statue, another a part of the wall pulls away, and behind it, a very dark room. The way this room is lit, the light of this room cannot shed light into the hole that is opened in the wall.
This bastard reminds me of the ones who took my parents.
Took my everything.
Don't like this.
I'm gonna approach the opening and see if I can look in.
You have dark vision, correct? I believe everybody has dark vision. So yeah, as you get closer and your eyes readjust from seeing light to seeing dark, you will see inside. And give me a perception. You'll notice what look like pillars on the walls, but there seems to be no one inside.
I'm gonna glance back at Teresa?
Tessara.
I'm gonna glance back at Tessara, and I'm gonna motion forward, and I'm gonna go in.
Yeah, I'll follow him.
I'll look at Lynn.
I need to know why we're here.
Stay close. I'll go first, and
Okay.
yeah,
I'm sticking super close to you at this point.
Grey Bloom, you follow behind and close the wall behind you. And as you do, from behind the pillars will step 3 figures and the elf that you saw before. Well, I wasn't sure if you were right or wrong for this. I wasn't sure if Grey Bloom had found good marks. I believe he has. All of you are tired of what this city has become, aren't you?
Some might even say it's on a path to misery.
On a path to it, it's already there. They lie. They say that it is fine. You have seen the outer districts. It is not fine.
We have. We know that many go missing. It is not that crime is not committed. It is that crime is unreported. It is not that people are not starving. It is that people are removed before starvation sets in. It is not that people do not die of illness. It is that people are no longer here when they're sick. When people are ill, hungry, or aggressive, those people are given an opportunity to change or lose all opportunity at life. This is what the assessors assess. They assess the value of each life, of each person, of each place, and they determine when and if they must take action. We tire of it as well. Know this. By coming in here, by stating what you have said, you have already placed each of your lives in great danger if you were to speak of this to anyone outside of this room. The assessors will not forgive you if you turn us in. They will remove you just as they would us. Admission of what you have said, in and of itself, is grounds for erasure. But we wish to erase the erasers. And you have shown talent for this. Great physical might, great might of mind, great might of speech. Greybloom invited you here to take the test. And the 4 of you have passed. Now you may make a choice. And not a choice we want to have to make you make, but one that out of survival we must make you make. Will you join our resistance? Will you join our fight to remove the assessors? To free Cyan? To find Korthus? Or will you take the path of destruction? Not a choice we wish we had to make, but a choice out of survival we must, for the long-term betterment of this city.
I'll join. I step forward. How are you planning on accomplishing that?
We have been spending a great deal of time researching key points of information that we look to acquire. Key points of information that may unlock greater abilities for us to get around the infrastructure here. If we can acquire this information and acquire the right tools, we can start to bring down the essential pieces of the assessor's infrastructure.
I'm quite good with information. This sounds like a fun opportunity. I'll join.
I won't speak for you, brother, but you know damn well as much as I, probably more so than I, this place has gotten worse ever since Korthus disappeared. We could make things better again, if what they say is true. Do you trust them?
I don't know. Do I trust them?
It seems like you can. They don't seem to be, at least, speaking any falsehoods here.
This seems too elaborate to be some sort of government conspiracy. Those assessors, they took my parents. Do you know what they do with them when they take them? Are they guaranteed dead?
Unfortunately for your parents, a fate almost worse than death exists. They are turned to raw fuel for the machine, for the infrastructure itself. In a way, your parents are still here, but they are nothing more than a battery to store Arcana and feed it to the system.
I think slight tears will well in Valerio's eyes, and he'll cough forward. I'll join.
Yeah, Dracus looks mortified. Is that what they do to the people in the prisons as well?
One of the other people steps forward. He has a very familiar face to some of you especially to you, Lynn, who have seen an assessor before. His face is like a bit twisted, though, like somebody has sort of like broken his jaw, and his eyes are like very faded. But he steps forward wearing like long robes. It is what they do with all who disobey, with all who will not reform.
Are they still themselves in there?
There is a life in them, but none have ever been freed from this. When long ago the first subject was placed in the system to power it, long ago, we knew that it would be a hard thing to remove them from the system. But they willingly accepted. They willingly allowed themselves to be part of the system. Since then, they've been gathering more and more to make a perfect infrastructure. Korthus thought they would help him track down a greater threat. But in the end, they used Korthus to make themselves the greater threat. And they use people, as many as they can.
You said he looks like an assessor?
He looks like a twisted version of an assessor, like one that has been like beat up really badly, and that is kind of holding himself together. The robes seem to give me a gauge check, actually.
I don't know how to do that.
It's on your character sheet. It's gauge is the equivalent of sense motive.
Got it.
Yeah, so you get the impression that, like, with the way he's standing, part of the way that his robes are covering him, he is, like, they are covering every inch of his body, including, like, his head, but his ears poke out just a little bit. But it looks as if he's, like, kind of hunched over and, like, his form is mangled.
You said the assessors look unlike anyone else. They're very distinct.
They are very distinct. Assessors are always standing tall. They have much longer ears than a traditional elf. They have a sort of lavender hue to their skin. Their eyes have a kind of like inky blackness to them. Yet still have a few flecks of like color in them. And they move very, very smoothly. But this one does not move that way. He moves very, like, as he stepped forward, it was a very uncomfortable movement.
Did you say the guy from the bar is down here?
Yes, that's the main person that was talking.
That is the main person talking?
Yeah, this other person is this assessor talking, but the first person that talked was the guy from the bar.
I'm gonna walk up to the guy from the bar. I can't work with someone that doesn't keep their word. You said we'd get a name. What am I to call you?
You may call me Dragomir. And
Dragomir,
yes.
On my side of it, I said that the more things push, the more likely they are to be undone. Me and my brother will help you do that. So long as people don't get hurt more than they have to.
Excellent. I would like to welcome the four of you to the Resistance. And that is where we will end for tonight.
You spell that dude's name real fast.
Dragomir.
Oh, I
How
was so
close.
close.
I had MERE.
I had
I-
MEER.
I had it right, motherfuckers.
MEIR, we were all different.
Well, maybe you should take the notes, damn it. Oh, you are taking notes.
Everybody can go ahead and take 300 XP for this. I'll give you 500 XP for this session, actually.
What actually is second level?
1,000.
What?
Where is
Should
XP?
be 1,000. Is it 2,000?
Oh,
No, it's 2,000, right?
Are we
It's,
on, I was gonna
configuration.
say it's
You're on medium track,
2,000
yeah.
unless we're
no,
on
it's
different
2,000
track.
XP.
Yeah, 2,000.
Configuration tab is XP.
Oh, yep. Right above the race. Okay.
Oh yeah, sorry.
And you said 500?
500.
Nice.
And with that, we will wrap up for tonight. Just a quick thing that I want to throw out there. I am trying to do the Halloween party for October, an online Halloween party. I am doing it based on Twitch subscribers. So if we can get to 20 subscribers before next week, I would like to try to plan up a Halloween party. It is a subscribers-only Halloween party. So if you can, please subscribe. It is much appreciated. We will be playing Are You a Werewolf as part of the games and doing a few other things in the meantime. So if you can, throw a subscription this way. Otherwise, we will hopefully catch you on Sunday for another episode of Mirror Shot. Good night, everyone.
GG.
I really wanted to ask why he looked like